Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Ashlee.
Welcome to the Capital Mom Real Life Conversation. This month we're going to talk about fostering sibling relationships as we move into the summer months.
Yeah, so we're going to start with our glimmer and our dimmer first, which actually we're going to share a dimmer. And I know
it'd be a joint dimmer.
Probably seems like we talk about this a lot, but it was kind of too good. Like when it happened, we were like, I think this is our dimmer. So we came over for a little dinner play date, and the kids were all playing so nicely. And there was a point where I was like, things are a little too quiet. I go downstairs and I'm like, oh, I captured this cutest little moment.
And she came and showed me a picture of our boys. And to preface it, our boys, when Ashlee was pregnant with Levi, and I have Brecken is 1 year older than Levi.
Yeah.
And we were like so excited. We're like, yes, we both have a boy. They're gonna be best friends. Like, it's gonna be so great. And it took a long time for
Levi to warm up.
Levi, especially. Like, Brecken's been ready. Like,
yeah.
I'm ready for you, Levi. But it took him a long time to like warm up and be Brecken's best buddy.
Yeah.
And we've officially like hit that point.
That.
They are like it only took 3 years, but they're
like
now
brothers
best
now.
buddies. And this is what they were doing.
Yeah, so I go downstairs, I'm looking for them, and I hear their voices, but that's a little distant. And then I go into like the guest bedroom downstairs she has, and I look in the window well, through the window, and I see them in the window well. They have a bag of Cheetos, and I mean, they are living their best life in this little home they've created in this window well, and it was so cute.
And so all glimmer so far.
Down. Yes, it was so cute. And like most often when we come over, and then the boys strip their shirts off. It's like the first thing they do, but everything else is on. So anyway, I come up, I show Rachel. It hasn't been 5 minutes that we're like, oh, this is so cute. Look at them doing so good on their own. Like, and we can just chat.
Yes.
And the dads come like running around the corner being like, holding naked children. Holding naked children and being like, poop, there's poop, everybody's naked. We need some help. We need some backup. So we all got to know Rachel's bathtub really well.
Oh my gosh.
Took all the kids up because
my daughter, my youngest, my almost 2-year-old, smeared it all over her body. And when my husband had first grabbed, he's like, I don't know if it's poop or mud. And I was like, oh, there's no question in my mind what that is.
And I mean, it happened in literally like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I was up here, I had just checked on them, they were fine, and then all of a sudden they had stripped down naked and all taken turns, and we were like, oh my gosh. So we were just, you know, bathing our kids in her tub.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, in reflecting on it, it's like, we're at that level where we'll still hang out again.
Your kid had an idea, my kid had an idea. Who knows whose idea it's going to be next time, but...
Oh, man. Yeah.
So,
shared dimmer.
Yeah. We were taking a bath that was unexpected, but yeah, it was pretty funny though. It really was. So, anyway, so yeah, we'll move on into our kids and siblings and summer thoughts.
Yeah. So, as you know, if you've been listening to us, we each have 3 kids, and we're getting back together. You know, Ashlee has 2 kids in school. I have 1 kid in school, and getting back together for the summer, and things shift. It's not the same. It's not the same amount of structure, not the same amount of activities, and a lot more home time together.
Yeah, and sometimes that feels exciting, and other times it feels a little overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, how are we going to navigate this? What is this going to look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we put together a list of some things that we think help foster sibling relationships. So we're just gonna go through that.
Yeah.
So the first thing is just realizing that it might take time to get back in the swing of things, because we've had so much schedule and structure and wake up, you know, eat breakfast, get out the door, all of those things, and that is going away. And they're gonna have a lot more free time and a lot more time to be bored. And just kind of giving them and yourselves grace that through that transition, there might be more arguing, there might be more like complaining, Mom, I'm bored, and taking that to just remind the kids, like, that's great. What are you gonna do? Think of this whole world. You have so many things you could do. What's your plan?
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. And even as a mom, not like, it's like I can get used to that routine too. And so then I can be like, oh no, I don't have anything planned for them, and feel that in the transition period too, of like, oh no, they're getting bored, or they're, you know, and calming myself down too.
Absolutely.
To be able to say that, to be able to say, yeah, what are you going to do with your free time? And like, what should we do? Like, do you want to make a plan on, like, but obviously a plan that allows a lot of like unstructured time, just because I do think that that's so valuable.
It is.
To have that contrast with school and the structure. That's important, that having more unstructured time.
Yeah. And then Ashlee and I were both chatting. So our oldest and our middle children are different, and different from each other, but very similar in terms of like, our oldest are similar, our middles are similar in the way that they are. And my middle actually struggles with being alone. Like when my oldest is at school and my youngest is napping and it's just him, he's like, he wants me to entertain him, and he doesn't do well with alone time. Whereas my oldest every once in a while does need to step away, and she needs that like break. And sometimes my middle doesn't understand that. He's like, we're here, let's play, you know? And so just kind of recognizing that every kid is different, and if somebody needs a break, we don't have to be like, no, we're home, it is summer, you will play all the time. Like, allowing one child to step away if that's how they recharge. And also just appreciating, for me, that my middle child, Brecken, just being so happy for him that he's gonna have his people and he is gonna get his cup filled every single day, getting to play. Yeah,
definitely. And we have the same situation, where my oldest does love her time. She loves to read. She loves that quiet time. And so sometimes I do have to draw her out, and that's okay. But I do try to allow her some space to have her own space and have that be respected. And it does help that my middle and my youngest, they kind of have each other now, because now Levi is
getting
more involved in playing and is excited about that. And man, that relationship has been amazing as that's developing for my middle, who does also love interacting with somebody and playing with somebody, and she's very good at that. And my youngest obviously is also
just loves
being
it.
With.
Just like, yes, you want to play with me? I'm ready.
Yes.
And I was an only child growing up, and I didn't have any of this, and I don't think I had any idea what I was missing. You know, people are always like, oh, weren't you so bored? And I wasn't. I had a great childhood. But watching my kids, and you just realize what a gift it is that they have each other, like these built-in best friends. And if you foster this relationship, it really can be that. It doesn't have to be like, oh, they're fighting all the time, they're arguing all the time. Like, I do believe that as parents, we set the tone for our home and the way that the kids treat each other. And if we are treating our kids with respect and love, and we're setting the tone of our home, that this is how we treat each other, they can be really good friends. That doesn't mean that there won't be moments. There will always be moments every single day. That's just life. But the other piece of it is that also is teaching them to work through things on their own. That you had mentioned, like if the kids are playing and they
just like trying to not interject myself as a parent when I don't need to. So like if I start to hear, like if they're playing nicely, definitely, you know, like let them play nicely. Just kind of let them. But then if they start to squabble a little bit, not jump right away, because I have seen my kids work through it. And you know, in any relationship, I think when you have a fight and you work through it, that builds trust, and that builds strength in a relationship, because then you're like, oh, we can have a disagreement and we still love each other, and we're still going to come back together, and we're going to work through it. And I do think that's where they get their communication skills too, with each other. If we can allow that, then you know, just not stepping in too soon. It's going to be times when we'll need to, but like
right.
allowing them to work through it. Cause I've heard my kids like start to get a little upset, and then I'm like, oh, are they going to be okay? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden they're laughing, you know, 10 seconds later. And I'm like, oh, glad I didn't jump in there, because it wasn't necessary. And sometimes when I do jump in, it makes it worse, because then it seems like I've got like one kid's back, the other kid feels like, you know, like then suddenly they're separated from the parent. One's got one side, one's got the other.
Yeah.
So, and then you mentioned.
Well, and another, this is actually not, it just made me think of, another really good thing is if you do feel like you need to jump in, is not making your kids feel like you're picking sides. Jump in with curiosity. Like, hey, can you tell me more about what happened? Or I want to hear what happened, and you listen to each perspective. And oftentimes just then simply stating their perspective is all that needs said.
Yeah, and validating that they felt that way too.
Yeah.
So being like, oh, I could see why you felt that way.
Yeah.
And I could see why you felt that way.
Yeah.
And then how can we work on it together?
Exactly.
Yeah, take some of the pressure off of that. Yeah, definitely.
So some other things that we had talked about that were helpful in just like building that united team of siblings are like friendly competitions. And instead of doing like kid versus kid, because that makes them against each other, find ways to put them on the same team. So like kids versus mom and dad, who can get their jammies on first? Ready, set, go. Yeah. You know, and that kind of thing. And it's like now they're on a team and they're working together toward a common goal, and they're rooting each other on as opposed to fighting with each other.
Yeah, and actually I didn't even realize it, but we were kind of doing this last week or so. Sometimes we'll do a bad breath monster, where like we only like bad breath as the monster. And so if the kids don't brush their teeth, that's like our favorite. So then as the parents, we're like, yes, bad breath. And so then they have to like run and go brush their teeth, but they're all brushing their teeth together. Yes. They're like closing the door and like not letting us in. And then we're like having a great time outside there and like, you know, but
they're doing it themselves.
And Levi has like loved it. He is like, and Anna loves it too. I mean, they all like, so then it's not such a battle of being like, go brush your teeth. Like, because it's one of those things you have to do every night. And they get a little annoyed at hearing me say it, but
finding ways to make anything fun.
Yeah. But then teaming them together, I think it's such a good idea. And I think that's a great just whole family bonding experience, which is also a great aspect of summer. You know,
absolutely. You have more time to do it and to like, just enjoy being together. And we had just talked about like bedtime routines, but there's a little bit less pressure. So you have more time, you know, because you don't have to get up so early in the morning. So you have more time to like, okay, we're going to do this tonight. And we have time to make it fun instead of feeling like we got to get them to bed because we got to get up at this time. You know? Another thing we talked about was family meetings. And we don't always do this, but it's something I think we both feel like we would love to start. Just meeting once a week and talking about what is this week going to look like? What's our schedule look like? Who has what camp? If it's summer, what time do they need picked up? What are we going to have for dinner? Are we having people over?
Whose sport is happening this week, and how are we going to support them in their activity? Because that's also a really great way. Like, it's kind of hard sometimes, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes sports are long, and like, especially with a 3-year-old, you're like, come on, let's cheer them on. And they're like,
5 minutes in, ready to go.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But especially with some older ones, kind of helping them recognize like, hey, we're going to go support and cheer them on. How could we like make them feel like $1 million while they're out there? And how can we help them?
And realizing that they'll get their turn someday too. And when it's your turn to do your sport, your brother and sister will be right there cheering you on, making you feel like $1 million.
Yeah, and I do have to bring up Anna in this situation.
Yes, you
because, my oldest had just a big team commitment this year that was awesome and amazing. But it was like a whole family commitment pretty much. And Anna, you know, she wasn't involved in a lot of things this year, and that was fine for her and her like just who she is. She's very curious and she can kind of make anything out of nothing, really.
She really can.
But she was so supportive of my oldest, and it was a really amazing thing to see. Like, she kind of, like, I don't know, like, she just really amazed us. And she, I feel like, has kind of like set the tone for like sibling cheering on in our family. And I'm just so grateful for her, grateful for how she handled that this year, and just so proud of her. And I've tried to really make sure she, you know, hears that from me too, because it's a big deal. It's hard. It's hard to, it's, you know, I think being able to watch someone do something and do well, and then just be so happy for them and cheer them on is a special gift. Like it's a skill that like we all can continue to use. Yeah. So anyway,
Way to go, Anna.
I know.
Really.
Truly.
Yeah. And then just family dinners. Yeah. Family meals. Anytime that you can be together as a unit, making that happen. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've tried to do that more too now that like some of our commitments have slowed down, and we just had like a family meal the other day that lasted like 30 to 40 minutes. And John and I were laughing so hard during it, I'm not gonna lie, because it is not like, oh, how was your day? Oh, that's such a lovely thing. I mean, it is like potty words that you're calming down every 5 seconds, like singing while eating is happening. But like, it was such happy chatter. Like it was so much chatter. Multiple times we're like, no, in your seat. Like, don't stand eating. Like sit in your seat to eat. Like, what about this question? And like, I mean, it was like, it was kind of like rodeoing, you know, like people at the table, but it was very happy. And that was something that we noticed. And I feel like regardless of what was said, I think that feeling, I think it was a significant feeling of like that, just like cheerfulness and happiness and contentedness that I feel like will stick with them.
You know, sometimes as parents, when you just have those moments where you look at your kids and you're like, wow, like this is our life. Yeah. Look at how amazing this is.
Yeah. And dinner time is a chance to do that. I mean, it can be. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to have them all together and just,
you have to be sitting down and looking at each other, you know, to notice it, to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one. One of the other things that I had mentioned or was thinking of was trying to still, and I don't even know how I'm going to do this quite yet, but I'd like to try to do a little bit of independent, like one-on-one time with each kid each day. Even if it's 10 minutes of like, what's your favorite game? Let's play that. And have my other 2 siblings help out by playing with each other during that time, knowing that they're going to get their time. And I don't know if that, you know, like maybe that helps them feel some like, it's nice to, it's hard when everybody's all together to still get any individual time. You know, it's like Levi might struggle with that a little bit he's had a lot of my independent time for a while, you know, and Anna's had some, and anyway, so like trying to divvy that up a little bit still, but not in like an overwhelming amount, but like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and have everybody help each other during. And then it kind of divides the, like, if some siblings gravitate to one sibling, it kind of encourages them to play with just the other sibling for a little during that time too.
Yes. So I signed my son Brecken up for preschool. He's just going to continue through the summer, 2 days a week. And we had kind of debated, like, should we do this or not? Because we don't really need to. Like, I'm home. But then I started to think, my oldest daughter, Ellie, she hasn't had any one-on-one time with me since before Brecken was born, like since she was the only kid, really. And obviously maybe when Brecken napped when he was younger, but so we kind of decided that it would be a good thing because that afternoon time, he's gonna do afternoon school, so he'll be at school, Finley will be napping, and it'll be 2 days a week that I'll get one-on-one time with Ellie that she hasn't had in so long, other than bedtime. Like we do reading books, so she does get it, but for that reason, we kind of were like, you know what, I think this would be good because it gives her that really intentional time with me. So yeah, I think it's good. And I know that that's not everybody's situation where you have that option. And if you don't, you can, like Ashlee's advice is great too, just finding pockets of time. It doesn't have to be a lot.
Yeah, 5, 10 minutes. But if they know it's yours and you have their undivided attention, I actually think that's like what matters most. Because our girls actually called us out the other day, called John and I out, where we've been, normally Fridays are family movie nights, and John and I had gotten to the point where we didn't even realize it, but they were watching like some of the same shows over, or shows that like we were just like disinterested in, and we gradually just kind of started having them, just the kids, watch the show, and then because we weren't thinking about it, there might be other activities that popped up, and the girls called us out and they were like, hey, this is supposed to be like if we're going to do a family movie night, you and Mom need to be there. And we were like, yes, we should. And so
it shows how important it was to me.
I didn't realize how important it was. And so then John and I, we got down at the level and we were like, you know what? You're right. And we will make this we will make sure that it is a priority and that we are there with you. And so we did make sure that one of the nights this weekend we watched, but we also talked about how we're going to keep variety in the shows too. We're not going to just watch cartoons. We're going to, sometimes it's going to be educational or inspiration, like different shows like we love Planet Earth, stuff like that. So they know that there's going to be variety. Like we're going to choose some, they're going to choose some. It's going to be a team effort here. But that was, that was a good, we got called out on that.
Okay, the last thing, unless you have something else before the last thing.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I just wanted to say that we have little ears always listening to us, especially at these younger ages when I think parents are a kid's biggest role model and impact on their lives. You know, when you get into those teenage years, maybe the peers
have more
influence than parents. But at this stage, with the ages of our kids, we have a huge influence on their thoughts and their feelings of the people around them, the things around them,
how they process that.
And so if we are saying negative things about their siblings in front of them, they are hearing that and they are internalizing that, and even if they don't realize it, it is impacting the way that they may treat that person. And so just really trying your hardest, even if you're so frustrated with one of your kids, trying to not say that in front of another child. Save it for your, after they're in bed, you can talk to your husband or whatever your way to let it out is, but trying to really build up their siblings as opposed to tearing them down. An example is my youngest daughter, Finley, loves to sing, and she is just like the cutest. And every time she sings, I'm like, oh, Finley, you are such a good singer. And my daughter, Ellie, was singing one day, and Finley looked at her and she goes, Ellie, you're a good singer. And I can tell that she hears me, and she knew that was a nice thing to say to her sister, and she wanted to build her sister up. So just knowing that they're always listening, and if you can put a plug in that's positive.
Yes, or a positive spin to the situation, that obviously there's glass half full, glass, there are two ways you can always spin a situation, right? There really are. But realizing that however you spin it is most likely going to be
how they view it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And we've had very much a similar situations with that in trying to catch ourselves too, and doing the same thing, taking our moments to vent away from the kiddos. Because it does help. I've noticed that when I respond, like when Levi's having a really hard time, and I respond in a way that's like, he's 3 and he doesn't know how to work through this emotion yet. And so he needs to know that this is his safe place to have that. And then he's going to work through it, and he won't be like he's not going to feel these emotions this big always, but he's little. And when you were little, you had a hard time with these little things too, trying to normalize it, rather than there have been times where I've been like, oh my gosh, stop crying. And I've seen them,
or like, what is wrong with you? Why won't you stop? And then that they're gonna hear that. What's wrong with Levi? Instead of like, Levi's just having a hard time.
There's normal.
Different ways.
He's 3.
Yeah,
he's
totally.
having a hard time. So
absolutely.
I think that's such a great lead in into going into summer and thinking of keeping things positive between siblings. And I think that is a really incredibly valuable thing, and for parents to model. So anyway, we just wish you guys luck as you move into your summers. We know, you're doing a great job. I'm sure you guys are. And yeah,
have fun.
Yep.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great summer.
Yes.
You don't need to do motherhood alone.
Come join our village.
Exactly as you are.